حبيب الله يا رسول الله يا حبيب الله.
One of the things about social media is that it's very pervasive. It's become very pervasive, and it really can very almost reflexively or unconsciously enter our lives. And now it's something that's just assumed when people meet each other. They'll say, I'll add you on Facebook or whatever it may be. And there's new apps coming out every so often. I don't even really know how Snapchat works, but it's just like one thing after the other is starting to pop up, and everyone just feels like they need to be on everything. And as someone who works as a chaplain and who counsels people, I see the effects of this kind of virtual world becoming almost more important and more present in our lives than the actual real world and real relationships. And there was a study I heard about where it said that because of so much interaction online, that there's a lot of young people who are having trouble understanding emotions through facial expressions. So in real conversations, I'm having a conversation with another person, and I don't know how that person is feeling based on their facial expression because so much of it is virtual. Unless you send me an emoji, I don't know how you're feeling. And that's really problematic for a number of reasons, but mostly because Islam is Deen al-Fitra. That our religion is the religion of the primary state of the human being. And you see within kind of our belief and our practice and how we live our lives that there's a very serious focus on maintaining those things that preserve the fitrah. So for example, relationships and friendships and family, all of those things relate to the fitrah. Cleanliness and beauty, all of those things relate to the fitrah. And when we lose touch with our fitrah, with our natural state, and it becomes kind of changed, whether it's through social media or other things in the world, it really can interrupt and cause a lot of difficulty in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in our relationship with one another. So when we're talking about social media and the etiquettes on social media, there's basically three things I want to talk about. And if I told you all, I don't know how the word got out for the Path of Enlightenment conference, but my guess is most of you heard about it on social media. Right? So if I told you all get off of social media, I don't know how many of you would listen. And frankly, it's not something that is very practical. But I'll give you three broad principles, or more like questions really, to ask yourself that should shape the way that you use social media especially, but sort of all forms of technology. The first question, as the Prophet ﷺ taught us very, very centrally, is, what is your intention? The first question is about intentions. Why are you on social media? Is it because someone said, this is a really cool app, you need to be on it, but then it's just okay, what else is going to come with that? I'm going to be on social media just because other people are doing it. You're gonna face a lot of difficulty in life if that's your philosophy. So you have to ask your question, why am I here? Why am I on social media? And people use it for a lot of different reasons. And I remember when Facebook first started. I was in university when Facebook first started. And I don't know if people know this, but Facebook first started so that people could hook up. That was the purpose of Facebook. I don't know if anyone knows the history. And I remember being in the computer lab and pretty foul images that people would put of themselves up on Facebook just to kind of get responses from people. So, it's very interesting. It's changed a lot, but that's how it started. And I remember when I was in university, if you were on Facebook, something's wrong with you. So it's not, that's not how it is now. Everyone's on Facebook, right? But not everyone, alhamdulillah. But a lot of people are on Facebook. There's a lot of good people on Facebook. such as different scholars and different teachers and different people who are who are good examples in many different ways. But even the way that they use it is very clear. That you'll find, I'll just as an example, Muhammad Ali, the boxer. The way that his social media accounts are run is very specific. You can tell it's a very specific purpose. It's about sports, it's about boxing, it's about motivational statements, and it's about selling merchandise from his website. So it's very clear what that account is for. But for us, a lot of we allow our emotions to control a lot of our social media experience. And we're not clear from the onset why we're here. Is it to be in touch with people? That's cool. So you can be in touch with people in a number of different ways. And you can ask yourself the question, are there better ways to keep in touch with people? Is it to stay, aware of, different organizations and different things, different events going on in the area? That's a good purpose too. But then you can also ask yourself another question, are there better ways to figure that out as well? Being on an email listserv or whatever. So the first question is, why are you there? The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that actions are judged according to intentions. So a Muslim is a person that never does anything in life without asking, hold on, why am I doing this? Just because other people are doing it is not a good enough excuse. But why am I here? And then asking yourself, and people do this, like every year or a couple of years, people be like, man, I'm getting off. They get into a big argument or a big fight or whatever, something bad happens, they're like, I'm getting off. So people realize that there's a lot of baggage that comes with being on there in the first place. And if you're not clear about why you're there, you're susceptible to a lot of the challenges that could come with that. The second thing about intentions is, we just have to be really honest, is that social media, I think, is amazing. And personally myself and the teachers that I follow, they don't take the opinion that taking, photographs is haram. They don't take that opinion. But I think it's very interesting how many great scholars historically had serious problems. And Islam has a very serious kind of iconoclastic history and tradition of having problems with images. Which is why, you see within the Quran that even in many Muslim societies, the artwork that they would have was either calligraphy or, not images of human beings, but things that invoked remembrance and reminders and beauty in and of itself in a way that was completely upright and moral. And social media is about image. Social media is about image. It's all about image. And whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Snapchat, whatever it may be, so much of it is about image. And that can be very dangerous for a number of reasons. One is that a lot of times, and this applies to both men and women, that a lot of times when sometimes I'll see people's profiles online or whatever, maybe someone might send a message or whatever it may be, and then I meet them in person and I'm like, you the same person? It's true, like it's happened so many times. Like, you the same person? Man, you look like you've been in a tornado after that picture. Like, you don't look the same. But the thing is, it goes back, and I'm not making fun of those people, but I'm just saying, like, there is something inherent within social media that makes us always want to look our best at an unrealistic level. And then there's other people, who get really, and there's studies that prove this, that people who are on social media for extended periods of time are more prone to being sad. Why? Because they might be having a bad day. And then they get on social media, and this person is in Portugal, and this person is in Turkey, in a hot air balloon, and this person is, in the middle of winter, this person's in like South Beach, Florida. And you're like, man, my life stinks. How come I don't get to do any of that stuff? And you just see like a little snippet of their life, which is a very shallow, expression of whatever else is going on in their life. And then a lot of people compare themselves to that very, very, whatever, interesting or sophisticated kind of image, and then they start to think about all the bad things that are going on in their life. You know, I'm having a difficult relationship with my parents. I want to get married. I can't find a job. I'm not doing good in school. Blah, 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 blah. And you see all this other stuff, it seems like everyone else's life is great. And I'm the one who's going through all the problems, and then it becomes this kind of cycle that's, a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, the image is very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Anyway, so that's something that really I'm still reflecting on and still very concerned about, because, we are an ummah of modesty. We are an ummah of modesty, and this applies to both men and women, is that we try to all be very conscientious about the ways that we present ourselves publicly. And, social media really lowers the bar. And, a lot of people say, like, I have to, everyone else is doing it, so I have to do it. Everyone else looks a particular way, I have to look a particular way. Everyone else is, presenting themselves in that way. So it's problematic, and it makes a person feel like, if I want to be principled, or if I want to be careful about my usage, then I'm the minority, I'm the weird one, because everyone else is doing it a different way. The second problem, and this goes back to intentions as well, is that you have to be really careful about wasting time. That, I'm sure we've all experienced this. Like, I get on my computer or open up my phone to look at a particular email or message a particular person about something important, and this is like, blink, so-and-so retweeted you. I'm gonna go check that out real quick. And then literally like 5 minutes later, I'm like, why did I open my phone in the first place again? I can't, there's an important email I need to get back to, or an important, message that I need to respond to. And meanwhile, there's all these different things that are just distractions. They're just, if you think about people of the past, there was a sheikh who would do daily, Sheikh Abdullah al-Aidarus. May Allah have mercy on him. Every day, he would do 12,000 La ilaha illallah. Every day. And that's in addition to like the Quran that he would recite, and the extra salawat that he would do, and the qiyam al-layl, and the classes that he would teach, and so forth. Every day he would do 12,000 La ilaha illallah. Maybe some of us might have never done 12,000 La ilaha illallah in our lives, if we added it all up. He would do it every single day. So they were people before all of these distractions. They were able to get stuff done. They were people who would accomplish spiritual achievements. But these things, it really adds up. And I even asked myself this question. I'm not trying to put any of you all down. If I was on my phone, or if I was looking at whatever, Facebook or Twitter or anything else, if I was reading as much Quran as I was spending on those things, like how much Quran would we read every day? It would be an amazing accomplishment. And I'm telling you, like, I'm not telling you this to put you down. There will be a day we're going to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it's a beautiful day, and that we're of those who are successful. But the people in Jannah, when they're in paradise, all pain goes away. All difficulties go away. All envy goes away. All of the things of this lowly world of hatred and envy and error, all of those things completely disappear in paradise. The only thing that the people of paradise regret is a moment that went by in their lives that they didn't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because they see what they've got. This is what we got. If only I made more dhikr. Man, if I could go back. Even the people in paradise, that's their only regret. If only I read a little bit more Quran. And, asking ourselves, like, how much is this stuff getting in the way? They even have, like, what's the word? They even have sort of like training programs or camps to get people disconnected from technology because they're so addicted. Like, they're starting to have like recovery groups for young people to get off of, to get away from technology and be like, go jog, go take a walk, go breathe some fresh air, like, go have coffee with a friend face to face. Like, do something real, like disconnect from this stuff, because it's not going to fulfill you as it should. And then lastly, that kind of comes to the next point, where I counsel people who are seriously going through depression because of their loneliness. Because they're lonely. And it's amazing. I've had people come to me time and time again and say, I have social anxiety. I'm like, social anxiety? It's really, growing up, we didn't know about something called social anxiety. I won't say it didn't exist, but I don't think it was as prevalent, and it didn't have a name. MashaAllah. And they say, I have social anxiety. I'm like, what do you mean you have social anxiety? I get very uncomfortable when I'm in large crowds. Or I get very uncomfortable when I have to talk to people that I don't know. And you start to tell the people, like, you should be totally fine. And then one brother told me, he said, I feel like when I talk to people, in my mind, they must think that I'm this or that or the other negative. And that's not the way of the fitrah. The way of the fitrah is being part of a community. The way of the fitrah is being connected to other people, having friends, having strong family relationships. Part of the way of the fitrah and the way of Islam is having a good relationship with our neighbors. And now it's like neighbors is like, man, that's like a thing of the past, like being on a good relationship with neighbors. A lot of people have completely lost touch with that, yet they'll chat for hours at a time with someone halfway across the world. So we have to be very careful about that. So the first thing is intentions, right? And how that affects everything else. The second, and this is also closely related, is purpose. Is that when you're engaging with social media, it has to be purposeful. There has to be a goal that you're trying to achieve. And there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good going on. There are, scholars on social media. There's a lot of good. There's entire, for example, the sister was mentioning that one of the organizations that I work with, Seekers Hub, they have, free classes on different categories of Islamic learning, free and available online to anyone in the world. And you start to realize, probably there's people in remote places or people who don't have access to teachers and scholars who really benefit from that. So when you're on social media, to always look for the benefit. So for example, on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it may be, making sure to follow people of goodness. And to unfollow, even if you have friends and they're putting up stuff that's not good, unfollow their you don't have to unfriend them or whatever, but unfollow their posts. And avoid what doesn't concern you. Half of the problems in the real world, did you see what someone posted? Do you see what he said? Man, see what that person said? Did you see so-and-so's comment? Oh, and everyone starts getting caught up in this fitna. And it's really like this passive-aggressive thing. Whereas people, if they were face-to-face, they would have a very, nice conversation. And they still might agree to disagree at the end of the day, but they're not as bold and they're not as harsh, and they don't put people down. You see, like I remember I saw nobody would do this face-to-face. And if they did do this face-to-face, God help them. I'm part of some Toronto Muslim, I don't know what, group. And a sister was like, I'm new to the Toronto area, and I'm looking for, places that I can go to in Ramadan, for Taraweeh. And someone, I don't know if it was a fake profile or the guy was just an imbecile, but he goes, sister, you're not even wearing hijab, like make tawbah before you start asking about benefiting in Ramadan. It's just like, why would you say that to someone? You don't know this person, you don't know what they've been through, you don't know where they're at in life. Maybe they're doing a lot of khair that you don't know about, and she's asking for something good, like, can you guide me to, a way that I can benefit in Ramadan? And then someone goes on to just completely bring her down and tear away at her. We wouldn't do that face to face. And if someone did do that face to face, they would need to really just go back to kindergarten or something. Learn some adab, So avoid what doesn't concern you. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Min husni Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni." That it is from the beauty or the excellence of a person's Islam to leave what doesn't concern them. So-and-so said this, so-and-so said that, so-and-so posted this is what's going on. That doesn't really concern me. If there's some way that I could actually be of benefit, then I would be involved. But you know what, just to be part of qila wa qal, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that, and being aware of the latest controversy online, doesn't really benefit me. So I'm just gonna I'm going to step out. I'm going to take a time out from that current controversy. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, is don't let your engagement on social media, if it's purposeful and you have clear intentions about what you're doing, don't let it distract you from your duties to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's time, you should be praying, put everything away and pray. If it's, I've even seen people, I remember one time it was Jum'ah khutbah, and after the Jum'ah khutbah, someone quoted what I said in the Jum'ah khutbah on Twitter, in the middle of the khutbah. So someone had their phone out, was like, oh, okay, cool, and like tweeted it in the middle of the khutbah, like that's not the time for that stuff. It's ibadah. Give everything its due right, and get on and be clear about what it is, and have a good opinion of people. One of the reasons, so I had a personal Facebook profile and I got off of it because it was just so hard there were people that I liked face to face, and then somehow on social media they became kind of like a much more aggressive and abrasive person that I didn't like. And I felt bad because it's like, these are people that I know I like, but when I read the stuff that they're saying in their comments and this argumentation and so forth on Facebook, I don't like them as much. And maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold me accountable for that, because I know that I like them face to face and I'm supposed to have a good opinion of people, so I just got off altogether. So I'm going to base my friendships and my relationships with what I know about people face to face. So-and-so said, so said. It's not really my business. So we have to be really clear, because a lot of this stuff really sucks people, whether it's the culture of image and the self. And as Sheikh Hamza Yusuf said, he said, what a selfie is called in Arabic? It's called a nafsi. Like it's really celebrating the nafs, that you can really shape everything to your very specific discretion. That it's really about, and there's even studies that are showing what kinds of hormones are released when you get likes or retweets or whatever else there is nowadays. Now Facebook, you got like love and like, and I don't know, like shocked or sad, or like we can experience emotions without Facebook telling us how to experience emotions. Thank you very much. Right? But people start to get like really excited. Oh man, let me put something up, see how many likes I get. Or if it doesn't get a lot of likes, then people start to feel like people don't really like them in person, and it becomes kind of this very dual personality. Right? Focus on the real world. Focus on your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Focus on the real conversations and relationships. I remember when I was living in Yemen, I didn't have a cell phone. There was no dream of having a TV. We were in a very blessed environment. And I remember one of the most enjoyable experiences for me is that sometimes between classes in the hallway, a few students would sit down, make some tea, and we actually used to have one cup. People in the West, they think that's gross, but it was beautiful. We used to have one cup. Prophet ﷺ said that the saliva of a believer is shifa. We used to have one cup, we would drink tea, and we would sit there and we would talk. And I remember that it was some of the most meaningful and fulfilling moments of my life. Just sitting down there, feeling that love, feeling connected to someone, not being distracted, not being, all of these other factors. And it was, once again, it goes back, it was a moment of the fitrah. And that we really need to maintain our fitrah, and we need to maintain our modesty, we need to maintain our adab with one another, we need to maintain having a good opinion of one another. Once again, like I said, there's a lot of good on there, but you have to be very purposeful. Otherwise, it'll take over your life. And it'll change you in ways that you never intended, right? And I'll leave it at that. Bi'awnillahi ta'ala, alhamdulillah, we have a much more knowledgeable and blessed scholar to give you all even more advice and more guidance on how to deal with these things. وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.